Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome here to the launch pad and our live launch coverage of SpaceX Starlink 7-16, launching from Slick 4E at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. If it's your first time here, you are looking at a live view of the launch site as we are watching strongback retract occur as Falcon 9 is now T-minus 3 minutes, 11 seconds, and counting till launch. If it's your first time here, though, welcome. My name's Zach. I'm the founder and host here at the Launchpad. And here at the Launchpad, it's our mission to inform and inspire the explorers of tomorrow because we believe that space is better together. And we're glad to have you all joining us live here. If you haven't yet, take a moment, let us know in the chat where you're watching from. We got Andrew in the middle of Tennessee. Timothy's in Kansas. Hugh is in Atlanta, Georgia. We got Justin in Mississippi. I see Indiana, Victorville, California, Missouri. I see Mexico, Poland, Denmark. I see Greenland, Ontario, Canada, Cornwall. Great to have you all joining us here live as we count down the final 2 minutes and 32 seconds till launch. On your screen is Falcon 9 Booster 1075, ready to go for its 10th mission after previously supporting SDA-0A, Sarah 2, and 7 previous Starlink missions. SpaceX's autonomous drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You, is stationed downrange in the Pacific Ocean, ready to recover the first stage after it completes its mission here today. Targeted time is 7:28 p.m. local time. They did have backup opportunities running all the way till 11:10 p.m., but propellant loading has begun, so they are locked into a flight opportunity here today. If they do need to scrub for any reason, they do have another opportunity tomorrow, opening at 7:38 p.m. with a multi-hour window as well. On board inside that fairing are 22 Starlink V2 minis ready to go to low Earth orbit. As we come down to the last 100 seconds and counting, we're going to listen in to the live mission control callouts for the rest of the flight. Falcon 9 will soon take over the count and turn internal, where it will pressurize its tanks for flight, and we'll listen for that final go, no go from the launch director. As we get into the last 90 seconds of the count, as always, we want to see that go, no go in the chat from you. If you're a TLP member, you do get access to those custom TLP launch emotes. If you're not a member, consider hitting that join button, supporting us in our live coverage as we expand to bring you the best possible coverage of everything from around the world. I'll be taking you through commentary through launch and landing of the first stage. Let's listen in at T-minus 1 minute as we count down to launch of Starlink 7-16 from California.
Falcon 9 is in startup. LD is go for launch.
And you heard the call out there, the launch director giving that final go for launch. Falcon 9 has now taken over the count and has started up its computers. T-minus 30 seconds and counting. If you haven't yet, take a moment, share out the stream, invite people to join us. T-minus 25 seconds and counting.
T-minus 15 seconds. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. And liftoff of Falcon 9. Go Starlink. Go SpaceX.
Vehicle is pitching downrange.
T-plus 15 seconds into flight, Falcon 9 has
nominal.
cleared the pad, beginning its journey to low Earth orbit, carrying those 22 Starlink V2 minis to orbit. The next milestone that it will go through is max Q. That is the moment of peak mechanical stress on Falcon 9. That's set to occur 1 minute, 12 seconds into flight. Coming up to T-plus 35 seconds, Falcon 9 already 2.8 kilometers in altitude, coming up to over 700 kilometers an hour and increasing in velocity. Waiting for that call out
Power
of
and telemetry are nominal.
Hearing that the power and telemetry are all nominal and it's on a good course for flight.
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
Waiting for the call out of max Q in about 10 seconds.
Max Q.
And there we had that call out of a good max Q. Falcon 9 continuing on its journey. The next event that will happen will be the kickoff of a major sequence of events, starting 2 minutes 26 seconds into flight, or just about a minute from now. That'll start off with MECO, or first stage main engine cutoff. That's when those 9 Merlin 1D engines on the base of the first stage will shut down, finishing their main mission today. Then we will have first and second stage separation. We will have second stage engine start, or MVAC engine start. And then we will have grid fin deploy, followed by fairing deployment. All of that will take place in the matter of about 35 seconds. As we come up to T plus 1 minute 50 seconds, Falcon 9 now traveling over 4,000 kilometers an hour, surpassing 33 kilometers in altitude. We're about 25 seconds away from the beginning of that sequence of events. You can see the sunset coming up on the horizon as Falcon 9 flies from the west coast. If you happen to be on the west coast of the United States or Mexico and are seeing today's flight and take photos or videos, make sure you tag us over on social media for a chance to get a shout out on social media and a discount code to the shop.
MECO.
Stage separation confirmed.
MVAC ignition.
Fairing separation confirmed.
And there we have that good call out there. If you're just joining us, you're looking at a live view looking down the first stage of Falcon 9. It is beginning its journey back down to Earth here. The drone ship, of course, I Still Love You, stationed downrange in the Pacific Ocean. The first stage is still coasting up to its apogee. This normally occurs anywhere from 116 to 118 kilometers in altitude when launching from Vandenberg. So keep an eye on the speed on the bottom left corner of your screen and that altitude as we wait for it to have apogee. Once we have apogee, they will begin the journey back down to Earth, and it has 2 more burns to conduct. Its entry burn. That'll begin 6 minutes 4 seconds into flight, lasting 22 seconds this evening. It'll then have its landing burn just before it touches down on the drone ship. That begins 7 minutes 55 seconds into flight. Now, we're going to be answering your guys' comments and questions in the chat, so you can send those by tagging us at the launch pad. We'll work on answering those live. Shout out to Ian for gifting 5 memberships. Thank you so much for that support. David, D, Joe Dog, Matthew, and Michael, congratulations on getting that gifted membership. Make sure you join us over on the TLP Discord to get access to that membership perks. If you haven't joined yet the TLP Discord, it's free to join. It's where our community hangs out in between streams. Now, we aren't seeing any live views from the second stage, and we have not been confirmed this by SpaceX, but the few times they have done this generally means they may have flown a little bit more than we were told on board. This is a flight launching from Vandenberg, which is when sometimes they launch some of the Starshield Starlink variants or some other classified. Well, but there's a video of second stage, so maybe we'll have to wait to see if we actually get to see the payload or not, or if we'll just get to see the second stage engines. Could also be just connections with ground stations. There's always that risk. T plus 5 minutes, 5 seconds into flight, the first stage heading back down towards that Kármán line of 100 kilometers as it begins its re-entry back into the Earth's atmosphere, and there it is passing the Kármán line. Its next burn will begin in just under 40 seconds from now, beginning that entry burn. That's when it'll ignite just a few of its engines to help protect the vehicle, but also slow it down as it begins to enter the Earth's atmosphere. Catching up on the chat in those questions, just make sure you're tagging us at the launch pad, and we'll work on answering those live. T plus 5 minutes, 43 seconds into flight. The second stage passing 150 kilometers in altitude, coming up to 13,500 kilometers an hour in speed. Waiting for the call out of that first stage entry burn.
Stage 1 entry burn startup. Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
And it looked like we had a good clean entry burn there on the first stage as Falcon 9 booster 1075 prepares to land for its 10th time, wrapping up its 10th mission. Tonight landing on the drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You. That entry burn expected to begin 8 minutes, 19 seconds into flight as we're just past sunset. We're probably not going to see live views of the drone ship
has safed.
until it is just seconds away from touchdown, but hopefully we'll be able to have live views of that if they can get that feedback. It descending now.
Are on a nominal trajectory.
Descending below 16 kilometers, preparing for landing. The second stage coming up to 150 kilometers in altitude, traveling over 18,500 kilometers an hour. The second stage will continue on its journey with one more burn, 53 minutes, 22 seconds into flight for 2 seconds, ahead of Starlink deployment 1 hour, 2 minutes, 17 seconds into flight. But SpaceX no longer provides live deployment coverage of Starlinks, so you have to stay tuned to their social media for confirmation of that Starlink deployment, but we'll hopefully have these live views hold out as we see booster 1075 approach the drone ship and attempt its 10th landing in its flight history. You can see a light coming in below it from the drone ship as it approaches, preparing for its final landing burn.
Stage 1 landing burn.
Stage 2 in terminal guidance.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
And we have confirmation of successful landing there of booster 1075 completing its 10th mission, and SECO 1 should be happening here shortly. If you haven't yet, take a moment and engage that subscribe button so you never miss another live launch coverage, docking, undocking, return to Earth coverage here on the launch pad. We did want to take a moment and recognize today that NASA astronaut Thomas Stafford did unfortunately pass away at the age of 93. He was the commander of Apollo 10 and a major part of the NASA astronaut program. He was only one of the 24 astronauts who flew to the moon. He also served as the chief of the astronaut office from 1969 to 1971. He was 93 when he passed. Today, he served on Apollo 10, the Apollo-Soyuz mission, Gemini 6A, and Gemini 9A. So NASA today really mourning the loss of one of its first really historic astronauts, serving in so many ways. So we take a moment to remember him as we end tonight's stream. We'll see you next time here on the Launchpad. Thank you for your service, Thomas Stafford.